Hebrews chapter 12, verse 14 tells us something very, very significant when it comes to our walk with God. It tells us to pursue peace with all men and holiness. And then it says this, without holiness, no man will see the Lord. Now, a lot of people, they interpret that verse and they think it's eschatological, or that it's only talking about when you get to heaven, that you need to be justified by faith, and therefore holiness has been established in your identity and you're positionally secure. So therefore, because of that, you will see the Lord. But I don't think that's the full depth of the verse. I think that the verse, yes, I think that is true, but I think it actually goes deeper when it comes to our current walk with God in this life. And I think that when it comes to seeing God in your life, when it comes to intimacy with God, when it comes to deepening your roots in Christ and having a growth in your walk with Jesus, that you also, without holiness, will not see the Lord in your life in the way that you want to see the Lord. And this is really important, because when God drew Moses to himself, he said, take your shoes off, where you're standing is holy ground, right? And so Moses, and even not just Moses, but when the Israelites were reaching Mount Sinai, God told Moses to tell the Israelites to sanctify themselves, which for them was a physical thing, meaning cleaning their clothes and, purifying themselves in the outward man, so that they could actually approach Mount Sinai where God's presence had manifested. You see, they could not see the Lord and approach him unless they had sanctified themselves and prepared themselves to see the Lord. So you see, there's a principle here that doesn't just apply to eschatology or to when we go to heaven someday, but even in our current walks with God, without holiness, you will not see God in your life in the way that you want to. You will not see the encounters and the intimacy and the growth that you expect with the Lord if you're not willing to deal with your sin. You see, the Bible even says in Psalm 66 that if you regard sin in your heart, the Lord will not hear you. And there are other verses that talk about how your sinfulness will block you from growth and from intimacy with Jesus and seeing him move and operate in your life in the way you want him to. Some of you struggle to hear the voice of God, and you wonder why that's happening. Well, if you're not dealing with sin in your life and you're not choosing to walk in obedience and in holiness in your walk, you're going to struggle to hear the voice of God as well, because the sinfulness of your heart will block many times your ability to hear God accurately and effectively. And so the key thing about abiding, right? Jesus said, if you obey my commandments, you will abide in me, just as I obey my Father's commandments and I abide in him. And so that abiding really is on the basis of obedience, which again is holiness. And so as you choose to abide today, as you choose to walk in holiness today, I encourage you to hold to that promise that if you are walking in holiness, that if you are clinging to the truth, that you are walking in obedience, you will see the Lord. Because it's not just a command, it's also a promise. God bless you.